Coffee. Now, I'm not going to deny that I do love me some, floofy, silly, sweet, milkshakey coffees. I do. But I also like to just make coffee at home and put a little creamer in it. You can't do it without it. I haven't gone out. We have Dutch Bros here. Dutch Bros is our coffee place that's like exceptionally popular. There's a million of them, and they're open late, and they have cool drinks, and they have young, hip, awesome people. It's like going to an Abercrombie and Fitch in the early 2000s. Going there. I haven't been there for a long time. I used to go there every day though, and the drinks there are 700 calories. So I figured I should probably take a break. What up, dude? I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I just wanted to go live because I felt like it. Probably play with some knives, maybe sharpen some stuff that came in from customers. This is one thing that bothers me. Maybe I'll put the word out. Maybe someone will know who this is. I got a package from Stephen J. McNichols in Chicago. He sent me a knife. I sharpened it. I have no way of knowing how to get a hold of him, though, because I don't have any message from a Stephen McNichols on Instagram or Facebook. So eventually, if he never messages me, I'm just going to mail it back to the address that's on the box. But I don't like to rely on that. The return address is the actual return address, and I also want to get paid. So I kind of need to message him. But yeah, it's kind of lame. Sometimes people on Instagram will do everything they can to like make it not obvious who they are. Their name on Instagram won't be the same as the name of the package. It's fake, whatever. It's screen name, or they'll have nowhere they reference their name anywhere on their page, but they don't put their screen name in their box when they send it. Like I'm supposed to figure that out. It's fun sometimes. Hey, Carl. Thanks for joining us again. I think it's just you and MJ chilling right here with me right now. Show this off again. Probably my favorite knife. My OG Sliz Bowie. I've had this since like, I don't know, somewhere around 2017 or 2018. I had it for quite a while. I got it before they got discontinued. And it was like no big deal to get them. You just go to the store and buy it. Then they got discontinued. And I think everyone was like assuming they would get discontinued and they'd go on sale. But they never did. So I grabbed one when it got discontinued for $300. That one I flipped for $600 eventually. This has been the one I've had since it was new. It's got the best lock of almost any knife I own. Very smooth lock. There's zero stick. So when I hold other people's Bowies and they have stick, it really bums me out. It makes me feel bad because I don't know how to make them this way. I don't know how to make Bowies not stick if they do stick. But mine, I'm lucky, and it just is very soft and nothing there. Department 13 scale. Right, you can see the milling in it. It's a fluted pattern. Department 13 on Instagram. He's out of Russia. I don't know if you're able to get stuff from him at the moment, but he makes really good scales and turns them out fast. He does quite a few smaller production number Spyderco scales, like he makes Kapara scales and McBee scales and other stuff like that. Other Taichung knives, I'm sure. How's it going, Eric? How's the sharpening going? Tell me again what your setup is. You have the Hapstone RS, right? Yeah, so how's it going? You learning it? You got it? What do you need to know? Take this box out again. We opened last night on camera. So this is the diversity of things I get into Sharpen. So this person whose name is not the same as her name on Instagram, but luckily I remembered it because this is the second time they've sent me knives, so it didn't take me too long to figure it out. But they sent me a CRKG. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just simple. It's a drifter. I have one of these. Mine's this is a stainless steel version. I have the G10 version of it. It's a cool knife, but it's not expensive. Sent me another stainless steel frame lock Gerber. Simple knife. Nothing wrong with it. Got a forward choil. It's got a frame lock. It's kind of smooth. It flips open. Nothing wrong with this knife. Everyone poo-poo this thing. It is made of, see if it says a steel on it. I doubt this is the steel number, but if it is, it's made of 4660918B steel. I don't know what that is. That's probably the serial number or the SKU. And the third knife he sent me in this box, wrapped rather haphazardly, was, I believe this is an Elashowitz. I'm not positive. He didn't tell me about what he was sending me. He just sent me a box out of the blue. But so I get quite the diversity of things into Sharpen. So I don't know what this is, but it's fucking wild. It's very nice, very smooth. This is the lock right here. You can see that bar. Just barely push it in. It's very soft. You can close it. Open it slowly. It's obviously a Damascus of some sort of blackened steel blade. I don't know what the handle materials are. So I don't think I'm going to sharpen this one on camera. Sorry, guys, because the heel on this one is going to be a pain in the ass. So I don't want to do it on camera. It goes stress me out too much. But we might do these junkers. I mean, these budget knives, not these junky knives. Let's do this Gerber for fun. Why not? We're not doing anything. We can do the Gerber and the Hapstone. Get some more practice on the Hapstone. Hey, Paula. Hey, Jordan. Thanks for joining me. What do I do? Yeah. So here's a Gerber. It came in the mail. Still going to put this on the spine. Loosen the jaws up with this pretty good quality Allen driver I have. It's a Bond House, I think. Yeah, I know. It works pretty well. So sometimes when you have squeeze this in with the chamois cloth, that kind of is kind of a pain in the butt. But it's worth the extra effort just to make sure everything is safe. Come on. might need a different piece. Loosen it up a little bit more. These jaws are a little bit harder too. They don't spread quite as wide open as the TS Prof jaws do. There we go. Just kind of center it on the clamp with the edge parallel to the jaws, because this is basically a Wharncliffe with a little bit of a belly. This is going to be fairly simple, I hope. If the edges ground reasonably well at all, it'll be easy. Just a simple shape, and the heel is got a huge sharpening choil, so we don't have to worry about anything. Still going to tape it just in case. I swear to God, every time I've not taped a knife, I got in a rush, which makes sense because it's not taped. I scratch it, so I just try to do every knife because it's. I punch myself when I scratch a knife when I don't tape it because I think it's not a big deal. Okay, that was easy enough. Okay, we're going to start with our Hapstone Premium CBN 150 grit stone. These are CBN stones. They are not diamond stones. Diamond is a different molecule. It's harder, actually, but CBN is also very hard. CBN molecules have softer facets. The molecule itself, it's like got a hexagonal shape to it, like with a bunch of little sides, whereas a diamond is more like that. And so when diamond's more like that, it's got pointy little bits, and they cut and leave more scratches. But these kind of polish more or better, but they still eat stuff really well. This company also makes diamond stones, but I do not have experience with it. We're going to have a little bit of work to do on this edge. I spoke too soon. It's a little bit janky. Okay, first thing, we're going to set stone here. And we're going to do the stop collar right here. So we're going to squeeze up this into the spring. And we're going to make sure wherever the arc swings of the stone that we never go above the leading edge of the stone. And it's getting pretty close at the front. So we're just going to bring that down a little bit. Make sure it's really tight. And now we won't accidentally scratch the face of the blade, hopefully. So now we're checking on the Sharpie. We're at the top of the bevel, which means we're at too low of an angle. So we're going to take this right here and we're going to move it up a little bit. Still too low of an angle. Move up the angle a little bit more. Now getting closer. Oh, okay. We might be reprofiling this one. Looks like at the middle of the edge, we're at the right angle. Yeah, the heel we're not, and the tip we're not. So we're just going to have to even everything out. Let's see what angle this is at. So the Sharpie is important for this reason. So when people say just swipe until the Sharpie's gone, that advice sometimes, well, often doesn't work, because like this edge, you can't just sit here and swipe when you're trying to find the angle. Like you'd be adjusting the angle forever because this edge is not consistent from tip to heel. The angle changes. So you would never find the right angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a number. I like to have a number even when it's not dead on. I have an angle so I can communicate it and people can remember it. So right now we are at 20.2 degrees. So we're just going to take it to 20 degrees. That's probably what it's supposed to be at. If it's that close to 20, we're going to say it's probably supposed to be 20. So we're using our micro adjustment over here. We're turning it. We're going to lower it 0.1 degrees. Now we're at 20 degrees. That's, I'm guessing, what it was supposed to be at. And we're going to call that good. Now we're going to sharpen. Getting the heel is going to have to take some reprofiling. Hey, Kenzie. How's it going?
Good.
Okay. That was my daughter Kinsley. She's 2.5 and she's learning to talk right now. It's super adorable. And she's back again. You want to go to the park? Okay, go ask mine. So now we're profiling, trying to get the bevels even. So the tip needs some pretty, it's soft steel, so it's not a big deal, but it needs some pretty good profile work done to it. It kind of like tapers off towards the very tip. And the heel knee is like at a pretty low angle. So we're going to have to grind some steel away to get it to be at the same angle as the rest of the edge. So like the tip is at a high angle because we can't get to the very front of the bevel. But the heel is like laid down flat. So like the top of the bevel is not polished like the front of the bevel is. And this is what sucks, is it's all aesthetic. I don't need to do this. I really don't. Just to sharpen, you don't need to do this. But I could never leave this just looking like not as good as it could. Because it's sharpened, it's just the bevel is not done well from the factory. So we're grinding steel right now, trying to move the bevel up. We don't want to do it too much on one side. We're going to flip. Haven't created a burr yet. Interesting. Take some Sharpie on this edge. See, this, I probably should have checked both sides before I did it. This side we're a little bit too low. I might actually move the angle up a little bit. Now I'm looking at both sides. They're pretty far off. This side I got fairly well done. This side looks pretty far off. I don't know. We'll just try and see if we can profile it as 20. This side's bevel is really small. I feel like they sharpened it a bit off. Yeah, I gotta get used to this grip. It just touched my finger, vacuumed it over it, putting it over the end hole. Profile on the edge, gotta take quite a bit of steel out to get to 20 degrees. Got some extra work to do on the tip. It kind of just, this thing doesn't really have a very good tip. Looks like it's kind of chipped. Orange brown bad or something's off with it. So we're kind of creating a tip. More profiling. You got more work to do at the heel. I'm not going to get used to this grip for a while. I like to grab the knob with my fist so I can really scrub hard. This is interesting not being able to do that. Only touching the tips of my fingers to the ball. But I'll get there. This is when I get usually aggressive when I sharpen. This is when I'm profiling and I have a long ways to go. Easy on my cadet because I can put a lot of pressure on it and just really eat the steel fast. I know what I'm doing. It's not suggested, but this will get there. It's going to take a little longer. Still soft enough. Okay, that edge looks a hell of a lot better than it did. But we're going to flip. I have an apex to either side, it feels like. Doing the heel again where it's at a different angle. Made a little progress, not going the opposite direction. Don't want to overdo it though, because then it'll flare up a little bit in the back. We don't want that. So let's go straight on. I might have to leave this one not 100% perfect. I don't want to make it take too much steel off. On the tip, being careful not to roll the stone sideways off the tip. I had someone message me yesterday who rolled the tip on their knife. Rolling the tip on your knife just means you literally took the stone and it rolled off and you sharpened the tip and not the bevel. And that makes you have a rounded tip. This is really, honestly, more work than a Spyderco, this knife. The steel is not or I guess it's forming a burr. Yeah, it's got a burr now. But it's not as soft as I thought, or you'd expect. Now our heel's looking pretty good. We've got a burr, so that side. At least we do hit the heel. I think we have a little more work to do. At the tip. Just trying to create a burr. It's helping even everything out. But just trying to get steel to curl over the edge where I can notice it, so I know it for sure it's going to get sharp. It probably is apex, but I like to be able to feel the burr, know that it's really there. There we go. This one's tip is kind of, I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it's just the way it's ground, but it's going to take a little more work. Checking for a burr that is flipped over, that we know we're profiled. Gonna do a little more work on this edge. Towards the tip especially. Put my finger underneath next to the tip to keep the stone flat. This helps you from rolling your tips. Just pretty simple little trick. Let's do one more pass. Let's see. Let's not. We're good. Let's just do 400 and see if it doesn't get sharp. We'll just go back and do it again. This steel, I can't feel the burr very well, which is crazy. So it must be maybe something, I don't know. Every steel behaves different, but usually softer steels, you can create a burr pretty easy. Now we're going to just reduce the burr. It's not a big burr, so hopefully I got this whole edge. Hopefully this is sharp, so we're not redoing it. We'll find out. Sometimes you just got to move on and hope your apex well enough. And now we're checking for just like anything in the edge is going to bother me, so I'm going to hold it in different lights, different glints, different matte spots next to the shiny spots, scratches, anything like that. Both sides look pretty good. I'm going to take it out. Let's see if it cuts paper before this drop. Yes, but tears it partway through. There's still some burr left on there. So midway through the edge, right about there, it stops. So let's see if this drop fixes that. Maybe 6 micron on this. Find the angle. This is what happens when you don't reduce the burr enough, or you didn't profile part of the edge and it's just dull. So we're gonna find out after we strop this what's going on. Honestly, it cuts at the heel, so sharpen at the heel, but it's got a dead spot right about there. It's just not. Yeah, it's just not up to snuff. So we're gonna put it back in the sharpener. That's why we always do a cut test. Sometimes, no matter how much we thought we worked something, it just didn't get there. Come on, open up, Jaws. Okay, since we took it out, we're just gonna marker the edge, and that way we know we're sharpening to the same spot. We're gonna switch back. Let's try this. Let's try this stone for fun. We'll go through them. We're gonna try the 80 grit and see what the 80 grit does to this edge, because this edge is, I don't know, it's not burring very easy. So let's try 80 grit on it. So our heel is sharpened, but we're gonna touch it a little bit. But towards the tip is not. Sometimes they're just frustratingly sharpened. So we're really just trying to make sure we get a burr going. I don't want to do this again. We're grinding away the bevel with an 80 grit, just really trying to rough it up to make sure we get to where we need to be. Okay. It's got to be there. Well, no one's talking to me. What's going on? Who's still with me here? I need a distraction. This is getting frustrating. I need a break. Coffee break. Come on, burr. One more pass with 80 grit. I think we got a burr now. At least one way, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. The 80 grit is interesting because sometimes I feel like, I mean, it's great for chips, but sometimes I feel like the 150 actually for this purpose works better. But we're going to obviously use the 150 next anyway. I just want to try this. This is getting frustrating. Okay, back to 150. We're going to try putting a working edge on this and just do a 150 grit edge. Nah, I'll do 400 grit edge. Take the spur off. Yes, I agree. This steel sucks. Whatever it is, it sucks. And what's funny is it's not even going to hold this edge for very long, probably. So I'm spending all this time to get it sharp, and it's not going to hold it. Okay, let's see if we got this sharp finally. At least this one was legit dull to start with. I don't sharpen so many factory edges that are so sharp. And there's nothing wrong with that because why not? Sharpened edges are better and they look cooler and they're cut better. But I always feel a little bad taking a factory edge off when it's totally fine. This one was not. Let's see how this cuts. Come on, baby. Okay. Cuts pretty well before this drop, but there's feel a little bit of a hold up, so we're going to strop it. Okay. Now let's cut it again, see how it cuts after this drop. There we go. Man, I'm going to have to do some work on this later. There's some micro chipping in the middle of the edge, which makes sense because we use the 80. So I might have to go back and it cuts smooth enough, but there's a little tiny snag in there. So I'm going to have to take it back to the 150. The 80 did too much. Did some deep scratches to this. Fun. So we're going to go back at it. This steel is fun. What else is going on, guys? So this is just a great time. Just a great time with the Gerber. Eventually, though, I'm going to call it a day. I can't do these forever. Gotta crank the town pretty good. Okay, we're going back. Oh, maybe that's because we never went to 400 grit. That's why. Nah. So I'm running my fingernail along the edge. We're going to go to 400 grit and see what happens. See if we clean this up. Now we're going to try to raise a burr with a 400 grit stone, see if we can even out some of these little areas with the roughness from the 150 still. I don't really want to drop down and try it just yet, but we might have to. The steel is not behaving fun. I put one piece of advice. I put a little bit of gunny glide on my rod that goes in and out. Don't do that. It makes it slower. I don't know what's to lube with. We probably need graphite powder to lube this. But mine was feeling sticky yesterday on camera. Figured out it was something on the rod, so I put gunny glide on here. It made it really slow. It made it like sealed like a piston. So yeah, don't do that. Looking a lot better now after the 400 grit stone, so maybe we'll be okay. Agreed. Okay. Last pass. Hopefully this is good. If not, we're going to say it's good enough. And I think we might be okay. This might be as good as we can get it. So we're really just trying to make sure there's no burr left, that we straightened everything up as much as we could, and hopefully we got rid of those chips. I mean, kinda. There's one right there. I can still see it. Damn it. I'm going to do this one later. I'm not going to chase this chip forever because knowing me, it'll get just a new chip somewhere else. So we're going to pause on this Mamma Jamma for now. Man, it took forever and I'm not even done yet. That's awesome. Here's my favorite shaman. It's got a nice mirror on it. And it's actually sharp. It's really fun to cut with. That's why I do the cut test. Just I want everyone to be satisfied with my edges. I don't send out knives that are dull. I don't send out knives that are dirty. I send out knives that I know are sharp and I know are going to cut, and I know are better condition than when I receive them. Sometimes I rebuild knives when I get them. Sometimes people send me PM2s and they're like really shitty action, and I just take them apart and rebuild them because I want to, because it bothers me. What else, guys? That was disappointing. That really was. I wanted to sharpen that like in 5 minutes, and we spent 45 minutes doing it. It's not even done. Yeah, it's got these little microchips on the edge. I'm sure it's because we used the 80 grit stone. It's just too much for the steel. I feel like they were probably already there beforehand, though. Or started. That area was dull to start with. Boom. Have you got it back yet? So I did Michael's McNeese 3.5-inch Tonto. And when it was sent to me, someone had tried to sharpen the Tonto bevel. So when you do a Tonto bevel, you either do the whole bevel all the way back to the grind line, or you just do a micro bevel at the very tip. So someone tried to start a full bevel, so there was like a very wide bevel, and I had to finish it and take it back all the way to the grind line to make it look nice. And it was a little stressful. It took a little while, but it turned out very good. I'm very happy with it. Nice. I love it. We finished it in a nice 400 grit satin edge, and it looks really killer. Yes, there are times it's bad to use super low grit stones. I haven't experienced it honestly on Spyderco steels. I use super low grit stones all the time. This is just advice I've heard a million times. I've never run into it before, but I also don't sharpen stuff like this very often. So my hunch is the super low grit stones chip this out. Either that or these chips were already there and I just didn't notice them. But this steel is not taking a burr. Yeah. So yes, there are sometimes it's bad to use super low grit stones. A lot of people will say don't use low grits on Maximate. I don't find that to be true, but yeah, that is a thing. This is the Vero we did last night. I'm really enjoying it now. I mean, these are okay sharp from the factory. But now it's like beautiful, aggressive. It grabs paper. Super nice edge for a mirror. Very sharp for a mirror. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not used to this. I would get really frustrated, especially if I had like an equivalent budget level sharpener trying to sharpen this budget level knife, and I had crappy stones. This would take forever. Now I know what people mean when they say it takes forever because this is just not. I mean, we didn't do it for that long, but I thought this was going to be fast, like very fast. What's going on? Well, I think that's it for now. We're going to do this again later today, but I'll have something better to sharpen or more fulfilling to sharpen and finish in one session. So thank you guys for joining me. A little bit of a letdown, but it was fun still. And join me next time and we'll sharpen something cool. All right. Peace out.